Something's burning. Yeah. There we go. Alright. Well, that was amusing. So, I making this video because I went out to game with a group today. I kind of made tentative connections last month. It would have been easier last month. It would have been closer down at ASU, and now it's where it normally is at UAT, which is a cool campus and everything. It's just further from where I am, and it was a 2.5-hour walk to get there. Luckily, I had planned on a 2-hour walk, and knowing that I had walked slower, but I had accidentally left an hour early. I woke up at like 5:30 and thought it was 6:30. And on the way, at a tag sale, someone else from the group who came after me and went to the tag sale after I did saw what looked like a kind of cool Ameritrash type game. And he picked it up for like $3 or $4. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But about the experience in general, showed up. It was a nice group actually. I had been told it would be, almost all Euro gamers, people who don't want to play war games. Well, all the guys who got there early, would be about a half dozen guys. Every single one of them brought at least one war game with them. So even if they didn't want to play war games, there was some expectation that they should at least show their war games off there. Later in the day, more people showed up who were not war gamers. And it was kind of a nice situation because people showed up who had, there were children there. Not really young, but children who were involved in the games, etc. And it was a nice dynamic to see, a parent and their kids and somebody else's kids playing one game of a kind of lighter variety. There were actually 2 war games going on. 2 different pairings of war gamers. One of the problems is you play something like this, and you go to something like this and you play a war game. And there's a heavy investment to learning, and in this case, I ended up playing 2 different war games. Wilderness War, which was really exciting, although I screwed it up royally, and Combat Commander Pacific. And that looks really kind of cool too, and very clearly not something I can play solo, and it's not something I'm going to pick up. But I like the feel for it better than like other squad level games for the most part that I've seen. It felt more like playing something like Ambush, except without the tedious paging through trying to find your event, etc. I think it was a nice situation. Wilderness War looks good. I'm definitely interested in picking it up. It's got an interesting maneuvering going on. And it's got me more excited about Washington's War because I understand that they use very similar kinds of mechanisms. So I'm hoping the same kind of raiding, etc. is going on. I thought that was really a cute aspect of it. And so I played pretty much all with one guy, 2 different games. He seems like a nice guy, somebody that I could game with, that I don't mind chatting with, hanging out with. Seems like a fun sort of gamer in the sense that he's not ultra, competitive, and he doesn't seem ultra concerned with the rules, but he also doesn't seem on the lighter end from me either. And, just sort of around my match in terms of comfort level with gaming, etc. Doing it just because he likes doing it. But the whole experience was very, very tiring for me. walking 3 hours in the sun. And there's even sun pretty harsh up by 6 in the morning here. Was not something I'm used to doing, so that was part of it. Getting up that early, even though I do that every day. But putting in, more than I put in for a day's work into this. And I enjoyed. I liked having the social interactions. I liked seeing these other gamers. I really liked the setup they had and kind of the feel of the thing. And I feel like if I could kind of go to that more often, maybe I could start pushing for the kind of games that I most like to see played. Because it really was kind of divided into more than half the room into playing Euros most of the time. And then, 4 of us playing straight war games. But some of the Euros were kind of heavier ones, maybe, I don't know. It looked like it. It looked like some of them were more my taste. And I got kind of the feeling that if I brought something that wasn't a pure war game, but was along the lines, Here I Stand perhaps, although that may be a little too heavy, Britannia, stuff like that these things could get played. The problem for me is, there's no way I can haul, a pile of games, and most of the guys, this was what was kind of funny to me. Most of the people who showed up, maybe they brought a couple of favorites. I think the guy with the family, he had to rip open new ones too. Most of the games they brought out were brand new games. I mean, I'm not just talking about new in the sense that they're 2010 or 2011. They're in their shrink wrap. These are games they've never played. That's just weird to me. I mean, if I'm going to bring a game to a setting, I expect to be fairly familiar with most of the games that I'm bringing, and to have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to explain. And the guy I was playing with did the same thing. Both the games he opened up first time for both of them. Combat Commander, he was used to the European version, but certainly with Wilderness War, we had to work our way through the rules together. Now, he was fantastic at this, much, much better than I would be at reading rules in this kind of circumstance and sort of helping explain them, etc. I'm really impressed with that. But still, we got tons of stuff wrong and didn't really know stuff, and that's kind of a funny feeling to me. So, I mean, we had sort of this sign-up sheet, and no one really signed up. I think I was the only person who signed up for anything, and I ended up signing up for 2 games, 7 Ages, because the guy I had first slated with to go play with had gotten somebody else to agree to play first, and then that guy canceled, and I went in, and somebody else looked more interested in the game, so I offered him my seat with the idea that I'd go play something else, because he was playing, I don't remember what it was, Fighting Formations, which looks interesting, but it's World War II, and I would rather have let, someone who really, really wanted to try it, because I know that's not going to be my taste of game. It looks cool, though. I mean, it really does. It has that ambush-like map, as does Combat Commander. And, the nice big hexes, you can put a lot of pieces in one hex and have them all spread out. It looked like a pretty game, though, and I definitely enjoyed that. But what I was thinking more along the lines of this is the same thing that kind of troubled me when we went to these open gaming events. Everybody would bring their pile of games and then this wasn't the case here. Nobody was really trying to push their game too much. It was all much looser than what I got used to. I think my group was very, very conflict-oriented in terms of personalities and number of players. We only had X amount of players, and we couldn't get... But this is a larger group. There's definitely a limit to how many people could play a heavier game. But it would just be nice to be able to say, hey, this week we have X number of people for, so Here I Stand, and that's what we're going to play. And it would be nice if at least one person really knew the rules and explained them. Or if it's a game that everybody kind of knows, that's a different kind of situation. But in general, I think with a group like this, you kind of do have to explain the rules every time. But it just seemed so weird to me that people were opening their game for the first time here at a club. You know, that I don't know. It's just we've had. I've been in experiences with the groups I was in where that would happen occasionally. I mean, like if you're at the con and you buy a game there, or if there was something you just didn't get a chance to look at, and especially something light. But you wouldn't bring, things that are fairly heavy. And I saw a number of war games in shrink wrap there from different people with this kind of hope that, well, maybe we'll play this and we'll figure it out today. That's a lot of expense to figure out one of these games. And I don't think you get a great playing if you're trying to learn the rules as you play it. I mean, I've always felt it was kind of my duty. Now, the guy I was playing with had no real reason to believe that either of the games we played were going to get played. So I kind of question why he brought them. But maybe it was kind of I hope we play this. But the other guy who contacted me, he was very familiar with the rules of the game that he wanted to play. And, he wanted to play that game. He tried to set up and find somebody to play it. He did so, and he brought the game. He brought other games too, I guess. Not many. He brought Command and Colors, a couple Command and Colors, which also they were very familiar with. But it seems so odd to me. And I think there's so much to be gained to be able to say, look, we may not know who we have, but if we can get at least X number of people to agree we're going to play this next month, or a week in advance or whatever, let's just do that. And we'll bring it, and that way we have a game we're prepared for, and it's not going to be that tedious and hard to get people up to speed, because at least one person probably has familiarized themselves with the rules and can help everyone else. Anyway, for me, the troubling part, of course, is just I come home, I'm tired. I've wasted my Saturday. Not wasted because I had as much fun as I probably would playing solo, but I'm more tired from this. And I'm more, I get so much social interaction just like being around people and cursing at them at work that having to be around people for play is kind of hard too. I don't know. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up and send it. I don't know what the hell I'm going to play next.